Hey, welcome back. Today I thought I'd make a tarte tatin. Very simple to make. There are a few areas that you can get tripped up, but if you're careful, and hopefully I can give you some advice on getting past those, we can make yourself a classic French tart. We're going to start off with our puff pastry. Now, mind you, I get mine frozen because, well, I don't have a bake shop. We're going to roll it out a little bit, and then we're going to size it to our pan. Now you can use cast iron on this or whatever you want. I'm going to use this cake pan primarily because I really can't make the caramel in a cast iron pan because of the equipment I have. So, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So you'll notice it's also a little bit bigger. That's fine. Don't worry about that because we're going to tuck in the edges. So first things we're going to just dock this, just poke a bunch of little holes in it with a fork, and this is going to go into the refrigerator to rest. So I'm going to prep the apples next. But to do that, I need to make some acidulated water because we don't want the apple to turn too brown. Now you'll notice that the apples have a few bruises on them. That's fine. So juice of 1 lemon into that water, then we can start prepping our apples. First we'll peel them. Oh, by the way, I've got 5 good-sized Gala apples. You can use any good baking apple. Granny Smiths are good. Honey Crisps work really well, but they can be a little bit too sweet for me. First we'll cut these apples into halves and then into quarters, and then I'm going to cut out the seeds. You can use an apple corer or a melon baller to core out those if you want. That's fine. I'm just going to do it this way. And then I'm going to take those quarters and cut them in half also. Oh, by the way, those cores, my horse loves them, so they're not going to waste. Now it's time to make the caramel. We'll start off with 3/4 of a cup of sugar, and most recipes I've seen just say just a splash of water. I've got 3 tablespoons here. And we're going to dissolve this and bring it up to a boil. Okay, here's the problem. All that sugar crystallized. I think what happened is that there wasn't enough liquid for the sugar to dissolve into. We're going to have to remake this because the only way to save this would be to pour a ton of water back into that. And it's just going to take a lot of time. We'll have to start again. Okay, we'll start by cleaning the pan, getting rid of all that nasty crystallized sugar schmutz out of the way. And we're going to start back up with our 3/4 cup of sugar. And this time I'm going to add probably about a 1/2 cup of water. And now I've also switched to a wooden. Well, it's kind of traditional to use wood, so we might as well stick with tradition. We're going to bring this up to a boil and make sure that all of that sugar is dissolved. Okay, we're going to stir that until it's completely dissolved. Then we're going to slowly bring this up to a boil. And then we're going to slowly cook it till it turns into a nice caramel. We're getting there. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Now we're going to add about 3 tablespoons of butter. Now be careful, this could be a little violent. And I'm also going to throw in some spice. I've got 1 star anise pod and about 10 allspice berries. You can use cinnamon, you can use nutmeg, that's fine. Use what you want. So now we're going to cook these apples, and we're going to cook them in the caramel. But the first thing you're going to notice is that caramel is going to set up, and it's going to set up fast. Don't worry about it. It's perfectly normal. I expected this. One thing to think about is that look at that nastiness. As the apples cook, they're going to release liquid. And as it releases that liquid and that liquid starts to boil, it's going to dissolve that caramel and then eventually give a nice coating on the apples, which is what we want. Okay, the apples are cooked. Let's move them into the pan. I'm just going to arrange them nice and pretty in a spiral pattern. You'll notice that I did put on some gloves. That's not necessarily for cross-contamination or anything like that. It's to keep the sugar from splattering on my hands, because I'm going to be touching this and hot caramel will burn, and it will burn hard. So I did have a few apples left. That's okay. In the restaurant trade, we call that as extras Scooby snacks. And we'd serve them to the cooks or the dishwasher. You got to feed our dishwashers. So now let's reduce this caramel down to a nice thick sauce. So let's place our puff pastry on there. And like I said, I'm gonna tuck in the edges. So one of the reasons why I did the caramel in a separate pan is because of my burner there. Only that center part really gets hot. And when you're making caramel, evenness is the key. So this is going to go in a 375 oven for 45 minutes. Now it's got to rest for an hour, at least an hour, because you want that caramel to set up. So we can do this. There you go, Tarte Tatin. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and please share. Sharing is caring.